Macmillan Audio presents The Wisdom of Psychopaths, What Saints, Spies, and Serial Killers Can Teach About Success, by Kevin Dutton. Read for you by Erik Bergmann. Preface. My father was a psychopath. It seems a bit odd saying that now, looking back. But he was, no question. He was charming, fearless, ruthless, but never violent. And he had about as much going on in the conscience department as a Jeffrey Dahmer cool box. He didn't kill anyone, but he certainly made a few killings. It's a good thing genes aren't everything, right? My father also had an uncanny knack for getting exactly what he wanted, often with just a casual throwaway line or a single telling gesture. People used to say that he looked like the scheming Del Boy in Only Fools and Horses, which he did, not just acted like him, which he also did. He too was a market trader. The BBC sitcom could have been a Dutton family video. I once remembered helping Dad sell a load of date books at Petticoat Lane Market in London's East End. I was 10 at the time, and it was a school day. The date books in question were a collector's item. They only had 11 months. "You can't sell these," I protested. "There's no January." "I know," he said. "That's why I forgot your birthday." "Unique opportunity to get your hands on an 11-month diary, folks. Sign up for a special 2-for-1 offer and get an extra month thrown in next year for free." We unloaded the bloody lot. I've always maintained that Dad was in possession of pretty much the ideal personality for modern living. I never once saw him panic, never once saw him lose his cool, never once saw him get hot under the collar about anything. And believe me, there were plenty of times when he might have. "They say that humans developed fear as a survival mechanism to protect against predators," he once told me. "But you don't see too many saber-toothed tigers prowling round Elephant and Castle, now do you, boy?" He was right. I certainly hadn't seen any. There were a few snakes, maybe, but everyone knew who they were. For a long time growing up, I used to think of Dad's bon mot as just another of his market stall one-liners. Here today, gone tomorrow. A bit like a lot of the crap he used to sell, funnily enough. But now, years later, I realize that there was actually a deep biological truth to what the crafty old bugger was saying. In fact, he anticipated the position taken by modern evolutionary psychologists with uncanny, sublime precision. We humans, it appears, did indeed develop our fear response as a survival mechanism to protect against predators. Monkeys with lesions of the amygdala, for instance, the brain's emotional sorting office, do very stupid things, like trying to pick up cobras. But millions of years on, in a world where wild animals aren't lurking around every street corner, this fear system can be oversensitive, like a nervous driver with their foot hovering constantly over the brake pedal, reacting to dangers that don't actually exist, and pushing us into making illogical, irrational choices. There was no such thing as stock in the Pleistocene era, George Lowenstein, professor of economics and psychology at Carnegie Mellon, points out. But human beings are pathologically risk-averse. A lot of the mechanisms that drive our emotions aren't really that well adapted to modern life. I prefer my dad's version. The observation that modern-day humans are pathologically risk-averse does not, needless to say, mean that this has always been the case. In fact, it might even be argued that those of us today who are clinically risk-averse, those of us, for instance, who suffer from chronic anxiety, simply have too much of a good thing. During the time of our ancestors, the existence of individuals who were hyper-vigilant to threat may well, evolutionary biology.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?